It was always that connotation of that word with the job, go because she's just smiling at the camera and looking pretty. Even if I have a bad mood sometimes, because I love being
share your bad
natural. I
mood.
love what?
You share your bad mood.
Yes, a lot.
I mean, you can't imagine walking into a football stadium and standing in front of a crowd and saying, you know what, life has just been a bit shit. But that's exactly what you're doing. You're standing in front of multiple football stadiums. And that affirmation is a dopamine hit that you are hooked on. I'm asking a very brutal and very honest question. How much of that, I love what you just did, triggers a dopamine that's like, oh, I must engage?
Yes.
It means a lot, to be honest.
Especially when I'm out, like with my friends, and they tell me, you're always with your phone, just remove that. It's not that simple to just remove that,
Welcome to the She Word, conversations that women rarely have but really should. Before we go any further, just a gentle reminder, we at the She Word are on Instagram, we're on TikTok, Facebook, we're also on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn and Threads. So make sure that you follow us, you like us and subscribe. The very first show of the She Word aired in September 2022 and was titled Women and Social Media, featuring Taran Mamo-Chefai, Gail Baldacchino and Shelley Caruana of Shelley's Indoor Jungle. 34 million collective views later, the She Word is sitting down to discuss the truth behind being an influencer again. And in only 3.5 years, the social media scene has changed dramatically. Not only have the algorithms become more brutal, but meta updates mean that the game is always changing. Influencers or content creators come and go, but one thing remains. Maintaining a significant presence on social media platforms is tough, and it's hard work, and it's constant. In the first show, nearly 4 years ago, Shelley opened up about her sudden rise to fame in COVID with nearly 200,000 followers simply by sharing the story of the progress of her plants. But she also talked very openly about the 8 hours a day she was dedicating to creating, reviewing, and editing content, and how this obsession impacted her and her family. Well, we are here again to talk about this topic. Daniela Farrugia is the Sporty Explorer who describes herself as a travel creator Maltese with nearly 40,000 followers on Insta and a bunch more on TikTok. Daniela and I first met when we went to the Content Creators Summit in Brussels, and I watched you make content creation look so pro and so smooth.
Thanks.
As a producer, I knew exactly what was going on behind the scenes. I'm going to come to you in just a second. Josline Camilleri is nothing if not bright, bold, and colourful, bringing this incredible energy to our feed. Josline shares honest and bubbly content to her Instagram and TikTok followers, but also you give us direct and heartfelt feedback to very real issues. Coming to you in just a second. Martina, Maltese food lovers. Hello, darling. You are exactly what you say you are. Martina's followers are treated to food reviews as well as recipes, largely based in Malta, but also when you're traveling. So, ladies first up, I feel like I don't need to introduce you any more than that because everybody knows who you are. This is the easiest show ever. But welcome. It's so good to see you again, Daniela.
Oh, me too. Not just you, but all of them, both of them. I got to know Martina today, but Josline after, what a
1
shame.
year and a
1
half.
year.
My God, it's been like
Has to be the She Word to connect us again.
the
That's what we
energy
do.
levels are high.
True.
And I'm so proud to be sitting with these girls, like with all of you. In my journey, I have known Daniela just before no one ever knew about me. And Martina, right after my journey, which started in the public. So for me, it's like two worlds coming together, the before and after.
And it's only been a year
Yes.
since we met, but we just clicked.
Yes.
That is so lovely. Well, I have to just put into context that we met
And I
at an
was gonna
event
tell
where we would
you-
be behaving very badly at the back of the room, which is great. We
Like-
met on a content creator
Brussels,
summit.
yes.
And Martina, we have just met, and you
Yes.
came as a high recommendation from Josline. So I want to dive into the lives behind the profiles, the truth behind the influencer. But before we do that, approximately 51% of young Europeans aspire to being content creators or influencers. In the UK alone, a poll highlights that 37% of 16 to 25-year-olds want to be a creator, with an additional 13% already working in the industry. Furthermore, a massive 57% of Gen Z globally, including Europe, express interest in the career. This is a massive amount. But I know, and I said this before we sat down, I know it isn't that easy. And Daniele, when we went to Brussels, you made it look super, super easy. So what I want to do during the course of this discussion is I want to look at who you are, what you are, but the impact of being an influencer, and also the protocols, what's right and wrong about being an influencer. And then I want to touch on the mental health for you and also for followers, because social media is not going anywhere. It's here to stay, right? And you guys have these careers and you have these jobs, but I want to find a little bit more about that. So first of all, I'm going to ask each of you, do you prefer content creator or influencer? What do you prefer as a title?
Me, when someone asks me, what are you exactly, a content creator or an influencer? I kind of both, because in some way you influences as well, because you're showing stuff, you're doing ads, but I also create content because I love going abroad. I love creating content, showing people different places. So myself, I consider myself both.
Both. Martina?
I prefer content creator because I love the process of creating, being creative in your projects and expressing your ideas in your work. So I prefer that term. But I guess Daniela was right in saying that in certain ways we do influence people, hopefully in a good way. But for example, if I'm seeing you doing a recipe and you're using certain brands or stuff, I will say, she's using that.
Exactly.
So without even knowing, you're
Yes.
going to influence.
But also interesting because I've seen you make recipes and that is content creation.
Yes.
So there's kind of both. So I'm going to ask Josline, do you do recipes? No, you don't.
I mean,
She did
sometimes.
once.
And we did together as well.
Content creator or influencer?
So maybe can I add a new word?
Another one?
Go.
I would love to use inspiration. Like, you know, when you go to Pinterest and you get your inspo.
Yeah.
And maybe you like that aesthetic or a word that makes a difference in your day. And I would like that I would love to leave something, like it's like a legacy, like I don't have kids right now, you know.
Do you know this is really interesting? Can I just say, because you mentioned Pinterest and my husband planned our whole house through Pinterest. But that idea of just inspiring someone rather than necessarily influencing them, I actually really like that because it kind of sits halfway through the two.
Because influencing for me, it's like imposing, and I don't agree with that. Like, if I'm gonna do something, it's because you left a mark on me, you know? And I follow that trail other than I want to show you this thing. Like, I do it because I love it. If I accept to work with a brand or something, I made my work beforehand, I tried it, and I want to do it. So, you know, so I want myself to be inspired with anyone around me and hopefully inspire others.
I really like
She's
this.
good because even it happens to me very, very often because I share my training journey because I love training and I believe training is not just for your physique but also for mental health and many other different things. And I received many messages like from people telling me, thanks to you, I started running. I never had an opportunity before to start. And sometimes even they join me doing
You
some
run?
work. I run, I do high rocks.
You and I need to go for a run together. Anybody else here
Yes.
running? We need. Oh, you're right. You're
I
right. Yes,
remember.
yes. We have to go for. We should all go for a run
Yes.
and an inspiring run. That's what we should do.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to just ask you on this because you've just added an extra term for content creator or somebody who has an online presence as an inspirer.
And of course, content creation is part of it because, like, you are creating. But I love to go for that new term.
I like it. I like
I
it
like
very
it
much.
too. And I just don't know Josline. I follow her, and it's incredible. She turns everything into something positive. When something can be so negative, she still turns it into something positive, And which it's I really something like about relatable her. as well. Like I really like, apart because she's my friend, but she shares things that everyone goes through. Like I think that is something that needs to be out there even more. And even for me, like I say it even for myself, because sometimes I stay a bit back in what I'm sharing. But when I look at Josline's content, it's things and problems and issues that we are facing in our daily lives. And I think that's something that people can relate to and resonate with as well.
Well, listen, before we go into these niche, because I think that this is one of your niches, is to your energy, your color and your energy. Before we do that, okay, because I am going to ask you about your niche because we've got three very, very different inspirers. Before we even move away from this topic, I do want to just ask you, look, I had Danae Mercer-Ritchie on the She Word. She is a great friend of the show. And she is one woman who really, I think, gets to call herself whatever she wants to. She has 2.5 million followers, and she's been doing this for the last decade and really inspiring women, just like you said. And I'm going to definitely tag her and tell about this new phrase. But when she sat here and I said, do you consider yourself to be a content creator or an influencer? She said, I'm an influencer. But now in 2026, there does seem to be a bit of an ick about using that term. Does there not? Is there a bit of snobbery amongst the industry about using the term influencer?
I think there was always not a stigma, but there was always like that sort of connotation with that word, even before influencer was even a thing, even in Malta. I remember like when I started 8 years ago, like there was no such thing as influencers in Malta. They were all like starting out, so people on the media were like, oh, look what she's doing. Oh, look what she's doing. So then when the term influencer came about, it was like, because she's an influencer, like, so I think everyone, it was always that connotation of that word with the job kind of, and even what we're doing, like, oh, because she's just smiling at the camera and looking pretty, and they downgrade the job. So there's a lot of things behind it, the word influencer, I guess.
Well, let's stick with that inspiring because I love this. But
Yes.
you've just mentioned, Martina, and I'm going to ask each of you guys. You've just mentioned that you started doing this 8 years ago.
Yes.
And I'm going to tie these two questions together because I don't think they're separated. You all have a niche. So, Daniela, you are Sporty Explorer, you're a traveler, but you also love your sport. Martina, you are mostly around food. And as we've just mentioned, well, Josline, you're just all about energy and you're about positivity and about color. So my two questions, which are kind of combined, how did you get into this? And how did you find your niche? Which came first? Did you decide that you wanted to influence people and inspire people online, and then you decided how you were going to do it? Or did you just say, I want to share my niche, and then people started following you?
It all started, it just happened because I started actually, when I posted my first story, I still remember it was about 12 years ago. I was so conscious about the way people are hearing me, about my voice and I wasn't comfortable at all. And I took this story for about 6 times. I was in Indonesia, in Bali, and the view was so pretty that I said, I have to do this just for myself. And then you start receiving feedback from people. Wow, how did you get there? And where is it exactly? And when you start seeing others like showing interest, I think that's where it all started, because it wasn't just about that story. I had few followers, like back then, maybe 20 or 25. It was really just, I just started Instagram and I was starting exploring this thing. I used to have Facebook before, so it all started just like that. And then when I was going abroad to different places, that was the moment I felt so free, and the most beautiful moment, like to enjoy life for me. I'm talking about myself now. So I wanted to share that with as much as people, like followers and new followers as well. And then the thing about sports just started. I started training for high rocks. I always love sports. I love football a lot and many other sports.
Yeah, I have to question that because you support Manchester United, and I'm like, no, that's not right. That is not it.
But now it's starting feeling right again after the season. Yes, we're getting back, and I
There's
can't.
hope.
Yes.
So in other words, your kind of your niche drove your engagement, but that was part of you.
And I believe everyone should do that. When someone starts an account, and unless they want to do it or just for themselves, they want to keep their account private, it's their choice. But if you want to go out there and share what are you doing with everyone, I believe that everyone should choose something. Not, for example, with me, I like sports a lot and traveling. I still share everything, like my journey and my lifestyle, even if I have a bad mood sometimes, because I love being
You share your bad
natural. I
mood.
love what?
You share your bad mood.
Yes, a lot.
I
A
know
lot.
we're going to come to this a little bit later on, but I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
But I'm going to ask
yeah,
these
yeah.
guys. I mean, which was first, your niche or your followers?
So my journey was really random because I have a private account. So I created this page out of a very random thought. We used to go out for lunches, and I always wanted to see like what I'm gonna eat before I book at a restaurant. So I decided to create this page with food that I eat from restaurants. So I used to post just food. I never posted my face. And it was like that for a couple of years, actually. Like it was just food pictures. So then it kind of grew gradually, I would say. So then like 2 years down the line, so I was doing it for 2 years, and then I stopped for a couple of months because I was like demotivated, and I was like, what am I doing with this food page? And then I got inspired again, and I logged into this Instagram account that I had forgotten my password. And I saw an invite from a restaurant, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. And from then, I started posting again. And then during COVID, I launched my own products. I used to do like vegan ice cream and vegan chocolate. And I was selling them to my followers, kind of. And then my friends and family were like, you can't sell a product and people don't know who they're buying from. Like, you need to show your face. And I'm like, and I was really nervous. Like, I remember taking a photo with this ice cream and being like you said, like, I was really conscious, like, what are they gonna say? Like, already, what is she doing?
Yes.
Like, and back then, as I was saying, it wasn't that thing. Like, people weren't, I mean, there were creators online, but it wasn't very common.
True.
So I was like, I'm not sure what they're going to say, how it's going to be like, what people are going to think about me. But then once I started, like you start, like the first time is always the hardest, I guess. And then once you start doing it, it just gets better. You start like creating, building, getting reached from companies and
Yes.
brands.
Yes.
And it makes sense then when you grow, because I had no idea it was going to turn into a job. That's why I told you I prefer the term content creation, because I always liked creating things, not only on media, like even in my personal life with crafts and these sort of things.
I can relate to her in terms of creativity. So before the explosion of Big Brother, I used to have my own business with an ex-partner. And Daniela is a proof of it, because I discovered I met Daniela through it. So
I was her
did-
number one fan. I'm still his.
Yes.
I still wear
Like I
what she
used
made.
to handcraft headpieces and earrings,
Okay.
but I did not come with them.
They're amazing, trust me.
Like, but back then I used to feel that I belong, like I wanted to wear them, I wanted to show my face, but the relationship wasn't allowing me to do it that time. So in my case, after that the business stopped and I let everything go, I was in my darkest times. Of course, I stopped everything, the business, I closed it down, and I didn't use social media at all. I was healing myself. My sister was helping me through it. And then, after 4 months from that darkest time, I was ready to face the world. Me and Daniela were going to travel to Greece after 4 months. And then, like, I knew I was gonna post photos because, like her, I love taking photos of myself, of the
Planning outfits.
like, it gave me back my energy. And I couldn't post again a happy photo without posting something of me which was the most broken version ever. So in August 2024, I believe.
Exactly.
I posted a photo of myself crying and accepting that part of myself that I'm starting over in life at 30 years. And I'm starting to post whatever is real. And then I traveled with Daniela, and I think that was it gave me life again. I had a panic attack. Do you remember? I had to call my
Yes.
sister, like, Lorinda, please give me some energy back, like, because she was the one who helped me heal. And from then onwards, after a month, I discovered I have an interview for Big Brother. And I didn't even know that I'm gonna be called in. But it started from reality, from my most broken version ever, because I cannot show you a picture of my happy face without seeing my sad face. It's like we are both of them. It can come a day where I'm in my most hyped version, but at the same time I have a news and I'm the most broken version ever. So
Take care and enjoy the luxury of radiant skin. Browns, empowering wellness through a selection of premium skincare brands.
There's the designer one, color, craftsmanship, handles, hubby cooking. Wow. Good thing we came to Satariano. We didn't just dream it, we got it. Satariano, quality kitchens at prices you'll love.
Are you still running your business using spreadsheets, multiple tools, and your memory? There's a better way, and that's Guru Edge. Automate the boring shit. The follow-up emails, invoices, debt collection, the admin that eats up your day, and let's face it, nobody actually enjoys doing it. Track your leads, pipelines, and team performance in one central place, while your automations are already following up, chasing payments, and keeping things moving without you. More clarity, more control, that's Guru Edge.
But this is something, I mean, I'm going to jump around this topic like crazy. I was planning on just kind of, slowly moving through these topics, but you've just jumped into a topic that absolutely 100% needs to be addressed. And I'm going to go straight there because I think we as audiences of social media are used to seeing very curated, very edited, very beautiful photographs. And each of you have very beautiful photographs of you online and videos. And this is what normally drives the algorithm, is beautiful shots normally drives the algorithm. Beautiful shots or has been, let me rephrase that. It's what has been driving the algorithm. And now the trends of 2026 are moving towards very genuine, very authentic content and moving away from the possibly AI altered, amended, all these sorts of retouched imagery and footage. But you've just talked about the fact that this, you being very raw and being very open, was what really drove you and what really launched you. But being that vulnerable in front of so many people, I mean, you can't imagine walking into a football stadium and standing in front of a crowd and saying, you know what, life has just been a bit shit. And actually, I've just broken up with the person that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. And this is how I feel right now. But that's exactly what you're doing. You're standing in front of multiple football stadiums.
Like what happened was when I was in my worst period, I did not say nothing about it to anyone, not even my sister. That's why I mention it a lot. Not even Daniela. Like, she knew my business, but I did not even tell her. Like, nobody knew. My parents, there were certain things that I only held for myself. And they damaged me so much that I really thank Jesus for giving me the courage to change to break the pattern and go back to me speaking up again. And once I didn't even, like, few months later, I had to go to therapy, not even to my family, to tell certain things, because I was so drowned in my situation that when I started speaking again about it and opening up first to my sister, because we as sisters, we grew up together in mental health problems as well, even in my family. And we always had each other. So the moment I broke that relationship, it was like my safe space was gone.
But then why would you and how would you be prepared to share that with potentially millions of people? Because Daniela also said that she shares her bad moods. And I'm thinking, as you're talking, I'm like, Martina, would you post a recipe gone wrong? Because there is that, I mean, it's a funny analogy, but, you cook a cake and it just is a disaster. How would you want to share your most vulnerable?
Not everyone can do that, actually, because I see so many even people I know that they don't do that, and it's their choice, their opinion, and I respect that. But with me, I just can't, even not just online. Even if I'm here today and I had a really bad day, I just can't come here and you ask me how are you and I will tell you I'm fine. If I'm not fine, I'm gonna tell you I'm not good because this happened to me. It's just me. I can't show something else. If I'm in a bad mood today, you're going to know. Everyone,
I think it's about boundaries as well, as in everyone has their own safe space and their own way of expressing
Exactly.
themselves.
With me, I express myself very easily. Even if someone I don't know that much, unfortunately, those close, I think it's not just me. Let's be honest here. When someone is more close to you, that's the most person that's going to see
through you.
Exactly.
But you're not talking about the people that are close to you. You're talking about the millions of people potentially.
To be honest, I started like when I rejoiced with my safe space, which is my sisterhood. I found that part of myself that I can open up myself again. And it was so relieving being with someone.
But you were also going from a rough patch. Like,
Yes.
sometimes I'm telling you, I be honest with everyone. If I'm not feeling well today, I'm gonna tell you. But sometimes when you're going through a rough patch, it's not just a one thing, like not just today and tomorrow. It's a whole process. That's another thing, because even someone who's maybe like me, I feel okay to speak sometimes, but sometimes when something is going very wrong in your life, like Josline, she went through a really rough patch. So not even maybe me, I won't tell anyone about that. It depends, you know?
But I
Like,
think
that's the beauty behind every account. Because, for example, I'm a viewer as well. I create content, but I also follow other
Same.
people. So if I want to see something positive, I know where to go. If I want to find something a bit more relatable, I go to another page. So I think that's the beauty behind everyone's niche
Account,
and
yes.
content.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Is it that intentional? Because I see most people just scrolling. They're going to scroll and they're going to absorb. And this is something we really have to touch on. But they're going to absorb just what they scroll. I know that if somehow my algorithm has got busted because I've been watching stuff about Trump too much, I need to intentionally go onto cat videos and come off them and go back onto cat videos and come off them and go back onto them to change the algorithm.
Yes.
But is it that intentional? Is your absorption of social media intentional, as in there are people that you don't follow and there are people that you will follow?
definitely. And to be fair, as I mentioned, I have a private account. So on my private account, I literally follow the pages and people that I'm close to and the people that I know. So that is where I consume most of my time, because on my page, yes, it is my work and it's my creative space, but I'm not really like scrolling much on it. Like, I use my personal account for that sort of thing. So I am very selective actually on who I am following. And there was a period of time, even news portals, I removed it because it was affecting me too
Any
much.
negative, it happened to me as well.
It
yes.
was too negative.
True. I
And-
couldn't wake up in the morning and seeing all those
Yes.
bad news day after each other. It was affecting me mentally as well. In fact, I'm building also a routine on how to go around it. Like in the morning, I don't use social media.
Best
like,
thing you can do. I tried, but I do it for 3 days and then I start
Go back to it.
Yes.
Let me rephrase. Like, I post stories, but I do not consume. So, for example, in the morning, I have I have my own affirmations. I do some exercise, and until I take my breakfast, I try not to consume anything. And even nowadays, one of my affirmations, let me rephrase it how I wrote it, because apart from listening to affirmations, in general, I also wrote mine. One of it is to intentionally switch off from the matrix. Because let's face it, it's a system. Like, we're using a system that is trying to consume our time, where we can place it in other ways. Like, we can actually go out, instead of scrolling, we can actually go out and talk to the people. We can go downstairs because our mom is there watching TV. There is an opportunity cost that the social media platforms are making us to stick to it.
I mean, this is such a key point, because I'm going to come back to you guys, because this is obviously also to do with your income. But I and me also. You know, the she word is across all the platforms that I mentioned at the beginning, and my intention is, again, I have my own personal page, and the intention of the she word is to empower and to inspire and
Yes.
to educate and to be positive. But we can't work away from the fact that we are on digital platforms. And I do look at how many people have watched the show, how many people are going to watch this show. But when I played earlier in the year, the part of the algorithm in a play at Sporty Creative, one of the lines really blew me away. I am the algorithm. My job is to keep you engaged. I could do it in the actual voice if you like. My job is to keep you engaged. And that is all the algorithm is there to do. It does not want you to leave. It will do everything it can to be as addictive as it can, to keep you on the page as long as it can, to get as much advertising information as it can, as much data from you as it can, to make you buy whatever it thinks. It's not there. You mentioned the Matrix. We have to be mindful of the fact that these platforms were not born necessarily to enhance our lives and are not built to make us feel better. They were there to make money.
And in fact, that's why I'm really conscious on what I post, and I try to compensate for what's there outside, because this can really consume. It can add to your anxiety levels, your perspective of life. It can
And that's why it's affecting a lot of young people as well. You mentioned that, I don't know the percentage exactly, but you said that a lot of people are intending of becoming a creator. So I work in a school, and
Okay.
Yes, it came out.
Right. Because I have a question about what you guys do for your daytime
but
jobs.
I'm mentioning it for a purpose, because I work in a post-secondary school, and by coincidence, I'm working with students who are studying media. And in the beginning of the year, we do an interview to these students, and some of them tell us, because I want to become a YouTuber or I want to become an influencer. They don't know what is behind it and the process there is to get to that point as well.
It could be also because there are many influencers or content creators that have children, and it can be because they are
They're
seeing
influenced.
their parents, their mom or their dad, like doing this as a job, and they're
Do you think, one of the things that came to my attention recently is that in Malta, the average teen spends 35 hours a week online. 35 hours. That is just short of a full-time career. Online. And
crazy.
the statistics, and this is in Malta, and we've just had a show about mums and digital media age and how they can work with kids and how much time. And I don't know if you saw also that, a couple of weeks ago, the UK banned social media for under 16s because there has been very little control put in place. It's just been like let loose social media.
I understand why, because of the children. For example, I have a niece and nephew, and right now we are working on limiting how much they use their mobile, because when we were young, our mom left us do anything.
Reality.
If we are here, we end up bringing the papers, making an airplane. If you give a paper to a kid right now,
They tell you what am I
there
going to
is
do with
a
it.
probability that they wouldn't know how to do something about it,
I
because
remember doing those boats with the paper when
it.
it's raining. We go
So-
outside.
Airplanes.
the point is that they only know how to do this,
True.
and I would love them to use their minds into problem solving, into discovering, even if they can get a punishment afterwards, but they're doing.
But isn't this the dichotomy? Because this is the double-edged sword. Because you guys are influencers and content creators. You need these audiences to follow you, to engage with you, for you to be able to do what you do. We're going to come back to this in a second, but I want to flip it on its head, because I don't want to talk just about how much kids, young people, and people like myself are online. I want to talk about how much time you spend creating content. Now, before we get there,
I have problems with
before
my
we get there, I'm going to ask, because I said to Martina, don't tell me what you do for a job, because I wanted to see if, until we sat down, I wanted to find out if there's any correlation between what you do online and what you do for a day job. And in your case, there literally isn't.
No.
You have two lives.
Yes,
Two
literally.
lives. So you have a full-time job and you do this.
Yes.
And this is a really big
It's a
point,
lot,
right?
I mean,
Full-time job?
Yes.
Doing?
So very freshly, social media.
So you live, breathe, and are social media. And who
Social
do you
media.
social media for?
So I work with different brands
Okay.
and do promotions with like the condition I place is that I can be me. Like if I can be me in a particular advert and with the conditions that I also love, I tried it or anything.
Yes. The
that's-
authenticity.
And I say no. I say no to things that are not part of me or that I'm not gonna use.
But this is a full-time job for you.
Yes.
Social media
And
is
TV
full-time.
host.
And TV host.
Yes.
Okay. Which is kind of interesting because they are, if you put it as a media presenter, they fall under the same umbrella. I was a radio DJ, a TV presenter, TV producer before I did podcasting, and before we, as the She Word, have a social media presence as well. It all falls under that sort of very similar genre.
Yes, yes.
But you, of course, your job and your social media presence.
Originally, I
is
started
knitted.
as a beauty therapist. I had a salon, and sometimes I said, "What have I done?" Because when you have your own job, for example, with me, I had the salon. I go to the salon. I have my clients. I do my day. If I want to work until 6, for example, or it's summer, I want to work only till 5. For example, 3 times a week or more. That's my day. I go at home, I cook or I go out, and that's my day.
Yeah, beginning, finish.
Now, sometimes my day after 5 just started.
Because your daytime job is in travel.
And not just, no, because I do travel and content creator as well. And so those are the main two. But then you have other things, like sometimes you have other opportunities.
Yeah.
But other thing that we haven't mentioned yet are the messages. So the
Well,
messages...
we're coming to that. Bear with me, because what I'm trying to establish, all right, to be able to give a framework on how much time you spend, I'm looking at what you do. And the difference is that Martina there has two very distinct differences. You have your daytime job, and then you come out of your daytime job and you switch to social media. With you, Josline, you are 100% social media, creation of content.
Like
yes?
it's very fresh because I used to be an accountant. Like
Oh, get out of town, girlfriend. There is no way on this planet that you were an accountant.
my profession.
Did you know this?
Yes. Like I had masters in accountancy. I was an auditor.
No way. I do not believe you.
And the thing is that I always had a knack for something creative, and I'm not a 9-to-5 job. So then I, like, if I am an accountant right by now, I would earn more. Like let's face it. I'm gonna be honest about it. But if I die today, I would want to do something I love
There you go.
the most. So I'm taking the risk. And right now it's about making a living and being happy with it.
There you go. I love that. And that is your full-time job. And in your case, Daniela, yours all blend into one as well, because you do have a 9-to-5 in inverted commas, but then your social media, your content creation comes into that, and that comes out of the 9-to-5 into your content creation as well. So I'm going to ask each of you, because we have a spectrum. How much time per day, per week do you spend creating content?
Just creating content, not...
Are we going to come to the extra bit? Because I remember before we even said about having this show, you said, I really want to be in this show. And we actually moved the date because you had a really big point about the messaging, about that. But the content creation, let's stick with that for a second. How much time does it take you per day or week, whichever you prefer, to create the content that you create on your platform?
I can't say exactly because it depends. If I have much time, I can spend the whole day creating content. Sometimes I I record content, I go filming, and then when I have time, I will edit that. So the much time I have, the more the merrier. But sometimes, unfortunately, I have other commitments. So we end up, for example, today, I didn't have much time to create content, so maybe it was 1 hour. Let's say maybe tomorrow it will take 5.
Okay.
It depends, I think, what you're filming as well. Like, for example, with me, recipes take a lot of time.
Yes.
So sometimes it takes up to 4 hours, 5 hours. Sometimes I need to go to a location, I film at the location, and then I go home, I set up my kitchen, prepare the food, and then I have to clean up everything, then edit. So it's a whole process, basically. But again, with my job, then I have to take time off sometimes because I can't manage to do everything, especially in winter. In winter, I finish work at around 4:35. It's dark, and I don't like filming in the dark. I like natural lighting. So then I have to take time off, and I film quietly in the morning or in the weekend, whatever. So it's all about
Sometimes
time
you
management.
even cancel plans because
Yes.
you're not having enough time, and you need to finish this by.
Yes, or sometimes I have to join it. Like sometimes I have plans with my friends and I have to film it. And so it's uncomfortable sometimes
True,
because
true,
I don't
true.
want it to
It's
be like
happened to
I'm
me
meeting
last
with
week as well, yes.
I want to meet with my friends and I want to be relaxed, like it's quality time with my friends.
Okay.
Don't want to-
The reason that I think this is really important is because I think there is a distinction here between content creation being a fun pastime and something you do on the side, which is, on my personal page, something that I would do, and a definite role. It's a job. It's a vocation. And in your instance, you have two very different vocations, which both are extremely demanding of time. For you, Daniela, yours blend between, and you have the freedom to be able to blend between doing one job and another. And for you, I mean, how much time? This is your full-time role.
So I think there is a difference between certain content. Like there is part of my content which I feel like it's a mission. Like there is a purpose behind it. Like maybe you think I'm crazy, but sometimes I'm having a soul shower. Like I'm connected with myself. I have my favorite music, and I feel like a message coming through. So I believe a lot in Jesus and the universe and whatever messages there is.
Absolutely.
And there is like where, okay, this needs to get through. So wherever I am, whatever I am doing, it's like it goes beyond yourself, and that gives me the ick that I'm living for it. I cannot explain it, but so there is that thing which, like,
So let's call that freestyle. That is your freestyle content, your spontaneous content, the content that you're creating when
the
you
content
need
with
to.
a purpose. But then
Yes.
there is so that is the purposeful content. Then there is the freestyle, the ones that we're having fun with family, or we're just having a moment. Oh my God, I want to share this.
Yeah.
Like, that's it, and you post it. You don't care about the editing and nothing. You just want to share a laugh. That, yes, the raw. And then there is the work. So so when you think about it, it's a life. It's not just work. So, and I was afraid before starting this because you know how I was with handcrafting and how I gave all my heart with it.
Yes,
And
so
I
passionate.
thought that, like, I was afraid of going this road because I may lose myself again so much that it becomes all of me. But I'm creating boundaries now. Like, like I know when to switch off. And it doesn't mean that if you're working, you're consuming, because you're creating. You're like, that parable about Jesus where you have talents and you need to multiplicate them and so on. So we're doing
But
that
the thing
as well.
is, I think there are two types of people. Those who adores perfection, and unfortunately, because I'm one of them, I'm saying unfortunately because it takes double or triple the time when you're that way. Because I'm never happy.
Għaluli li ftit ħin fix-xemx investiment għal saħħtek. Skoprejt li x-xemx investiment għal but. Il-Bank of Valletta hija regolata mill-MFSA u liċenzjata biex offri kummerċ bankarju f'termini tal-att bankarju.
Periods are part of the game, but they don't have to throw you off your game. Try new Always Platinum for up to 100% leak protection, faster absorption, dry feel, and it's more cushiony, so you can focus on your game. It's a new period, always.
Well, see, this really nicely leads into a question that I'm inspired from something Martina said, because you talked about how if you're going to create a recipe, if you're going to be doing that, how long it takes to edit. Now, I said before exactly what you've just mentioned, and that is
some
that there's a
people-
lot of content that is raw, that you've
Yes.
seen it in the shower, and there's a lot of content that is highly polished, edited, curated content.
And
How much do you guys work on polishing the content?
with me, that's I love it, but at the same time, I love it. Yes, I like the fact that I'm that way, but it's a problem at the same time, because when you're that way, you just can't. For example, let's say you mentioned your friends, you had to create content while you were with your friends. Sometimes I can't just say, okay, I'm spending Sunday with my friends and I have to take this content, which will take me just 10 minutes because it's very simple, it's very small. With me, it's not just like that. If I say 10 minutes, it's going to take an hour. Because if there's just the slightest thing on the table...
Something has to go wrong sometimes.
And even if just there is a small imperfection on the table or showing up
Yes.
in the video, I want to take it again. I'm not happy.
Same here.
And
Yesterday,
it's a
sorry.
problem, but sometimes...
Yes, it is.
Sometimes I love that I'm that way, because things will be more polished, but sometimes it's a problem because it's...
I was filming something with water yesterday. Like I was pouring water in a jug and there was like little droplets of water around the jug. I was like, no, I have to start over. Like
It's normal.
they were
Normal.
irritating me. So
But I
as you're saying,
understand
it
you.
takes
This is a super analogy between life, which has water droplets and is imperfect, and so much of what we see online, which is made and edited to look perfect. And I mentioned Danae Mercer-Ritchie before. One of the reasons I love Danae is that she's an influencer, very happy with the term, but she posts an awful lot of her that is not perfect. Recently, she was sharing a story about, and a carousel in actual fact of images about the fact that she had lost hair. Now, this affects so many of us. But she came out and she was really honest about it. But she, possibly because she's older, she has the confidence to say, you know what, part of my life sucks. And it comes back to what you were saying. But you're also saying, Daniela, and both have a place, because we like looking at things that are perfect.
But let me correct
it's
myself.
not real life.
When it comes to lifestyle, for example, I'm doing a workout, I'm at training, and I post a picture. My hair is like this, or I don't care. That I can post raw. I don't mind. But when I'm doing an ad or I'm promoting a brand, that's need to be perfection for me. They trusted in me, and for that I want to give them not my 100%, my 1,000 if it's possible, because they are they trusted me, they believed in me, and I want to return that back.
When it comes to content work, I relate to the fact. So let me add more things apart from the content. So you need to meet the brands, you need to spend some time calling them, you plan you have
Meetings,
certain, like, it's not
approval of
only
ideas.
about content, it's about creating, trial and error, see what works. You filmed things that will not be selected, so there is a lot other things that people won't see, like, yes, you have to do plans and everything. And when it comes to ads, like, sometimes there's
a guideline kind of sometimes. And
Yes, you have to be like that, even if you're sometimes if you're not. But with me again, because I wanted to correct myself when I said I love perfection. It's true, but when it comes to content, everyday content, I'm talking about myself, how I'm feeling, what I've been doing lately. Those are okay. I mean, I'm very natural and I received a lot of feedback from people on messages, and I really appreciate that because they always tell me the same thing. They like me because I'm very real.
yes, that's it.
But when it comes to brands and advertising,
And creativity,
I want to
it's
come
like-
back to what you were about to say there.
I was gonna say I like to post bloopers because in recipes there's so much you can
yeah, I
share.
like
So
that.
my content is different from Josline's and from Daniela's. So I'm not like talking about my feelings as such in my videos. So then I like to post a video where the recipe went completely wrong, or I'm eating and it fell out of my mouth, or something like that. And yeah, you get good response from it because people are laughing and it's fun to make like fun out of yourself sometimes. So I do show that part in that sort of way. But then again, from my content as such, I'm a bit limited on how I can kind of connect with my audience in a certain
You've just mentioned, I want to come to you in a second, Josline, but you guys have both mentioned this thing of messages. And this is where Daniela and I had this conversation. This is where where you came to me and you went, wow, you remember we were leaving voice notes for each other.
Yeah.
You said, I want to talk about feedback and responding to people and how lost you got in responding to messages.
Yes, yes.
Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. Danae, forgive me. I often message Danae and on her content, wow, girlfriend, that's really cool. And I don't expect a response. She has 2.5 million flipping followers. But for the I suppose untrained, the person who's not an influencer or a content creator in that respect, you'd kind of say, okay, well, maybe they get 10 responses a day that they need to reply to. How hard can that be? But I'm assuming that that's not the case. What did you, when you told me on that voice note?
So let's
that you got
start because
lost?
I like to make things clear because I'm a people person. I love people like
a social butterfly.
Exactly.
That's what I call, because
If
even I
I'm
relate to
waiting
that.
in a queue at a supermarket, I have to speak the person behind me or in front of me. I'm just that kind of person. If I just had my birthday and I posted a picture of myself, and I was always like this, not just now. My father was the same, and I'm exactly like my dad.
Take after.
And if someone, even back then, someone commented saying happy birthday to me on my Facebook post before, I want to answer everyone. I can't
man.
say thank you to everyone. I'm not that kind of person. So imagine with this character receiving all those messages every day, how much, like, the levels
How
of
many
anxiety.
messages are we talking about?
Hundreds of messages, which I really appreciate with all my heart. And now I'm into this point that I can't answer everyone. I'm missing so many messages that at the beginning, it's starting affecting my mental health as well, because I was spending, and Josline knows because I spoke with her about these things. I was spending, I'm not joking, 3 hours a day, or even more sometimes. Imagine the first 3 hours of the day in the morning or afternoon, spending them answering messages because I want to see my inbox all clear.
I like to allocate time for that actually.
But now it's getting impossible because even though I try,
You can't keep up with.
I just can't, and it frustrates me because I appreciate their time. and they are asking sometimes questions. And now at least Instagram did something good.
Unread.
Not just that, even when you post a story and someone replies to that story and you
And
check
on
it,
there.
Showing, yes.
it's showing. So at least if someone, I promoted that glass, for example, and they ask something about it, I can answer them very fast. But to go to the messages and answer everyone,
Sometimes you feel guilty because
Of
then,
course,
you're like
that's
randomly
the
scrolling in your inbox and you're like, lol, I didn't answer that, or him or her, or and you're like,
sometimes I do the unread, like the filter, and when I see all those messages unanswered, I'm telling you, I
Yeah,
can't.
mine's always about 3. You guys, well, I mean, we do get messages. We get, if we put out a show, and I'm sure after this show we'll get a lot of comments or questions. But generally speaking, with the she word, because I was thinking about this, I mean, the she word, we have a decent following. But because you 3 ladies are the guests,
personal.
most likely the questions and comments are going to come to you, not to me. Which is great because I have an easy job here.
Yeah.
But we do. I mean, we do, from the she word, we do get a lot of messages and so on and so forth. But there's a team of us to deal with it, that deal with the responses. And I try to do the same. But it just seemed to me, when we spoke, you said you got lost.
Yes.
And I would think that it was the content creation,
And the
not
thing
the messages.
is also, I'm saying about 3 hours minimum a day I used to spend. Those 3 hours a day, it's not forever. Like,
and what about your friends then? Do you answer your
Exactly,
friends? Because
exactly.
sometimes
exactly
you're
on
like,
WhatsApp,
I answered
sometimes
strangers.
I took
and
weeks
not my friends.
to answer, and Josline can say that because she's a friend of mine, and sometimes we text each other
Yes.
on even WhatsApp. So WhatsApp, I have the most important messages, friends, close family, like everyone, like I know close. And sometimes I take those for granted, which is very, very bad. And I say, they will understand me. I will answer them later, which I end up sometimes not even
But then I'm
answering.
going to ask you, I'm going to really push you on that. Why would you, just as Martina just said, why would you be more invested in replying to a complete stranger than Josline?
Because
Right, hang on a second. I'm
Yeah,
getting one
yeah,
from her. Okay, because she's going to answer for you because she's been on the receiving end.
this subject
To
is
be
for me
honest,
very delicate.
as they were saying, so I'm new to this. It's only been a year for me, and I was feeling so overwhelmed to certain points. Like the TV program was new, this was new. I was trying to juggling with the accounts, like everything was new. And the thing is that you build a community.
Exactly.
And some
That's the
people are
thing.
not followers. They become part of
And
your
sometimes-
you and your. It's like a family.
another family for me. Yeah, like the
So,
feedback they give you.
People don't understand that for us, if they see us as influencers, and that's why I don't like using that word. For us, it's like it's part of our life. Like we're being. Like I'm showing you all of myself. Like there are parts that I cannot tell you personally because I have my own things that I cannot share, other stories of family and so on. But like I'm treating you as my friends.
But you're very grateful as well because when someone messages you, they took the time
That's
out of
why
their
I'm
day
saying,
to message
yes.
you specifically to ask you something or
So
to
how
talk
can
to
I
you.
ignore them? Like,
Hang on
And
a second.
I'm
hang on
grateful
a
for
second,
that.
because there's so many questions here, and I want to come back to you, Josline, in a second. But I want to touch on something that you've just said, because you said yourself, Daniela, you get in that message and it makes you feel good. So my question to you is, how much of what you do and how much of those messages and that affirmation is a dopamine hit that you are hooked on? I'm asking a very brutal and very honest question. How much of that, I love what you just did, triggers a dopamine that's like, oh, I must engage?
Yes.
It means a lot, to be honest, because sometimes you're just talking to a phone. Right? I mean, we're all using our phone. So then when people are actually interacting with you, you're like, okay, people are actually watching me. Yes, you see the views, you see
But
the
that's
insights.
still the dopamine. That's still the dopamine.
But the fact that I'm speaking to someone individually, it makes my day. Lallu, they appreciated my content. They
Yeah,
appreciated.
and that's the thing.
It's- it's true that it's part of it. It's dopamine, but I think the other part is that sometimes you have met these persons outside and like you created a connection with them. Like they
Sometimes I even remember their surname when they tell me, "Listen, I'm that," and then I immediately my mind goes.
yes.
Some accounts.
Can you imagine all those messages and I remember the surname?
I can, because interestingly enough, I get more people approaching me offline and saying, "Thank you so much for that show. Thank you for that. Thank you for what you did for me or one of the team." It could be Maxine, it could be Narissa, it could be now Frank, it could have been Sasha, and somebody coming and saying, "Thank you for that show." And that, there's nothing that replaces that. But usually it comes with, because this happened to me. And I'm then saying, okay, well, listen, I'm really sorry that happened to you. And I'm overwhelmed that something that one of the team said or one of the guests said has made a difference to your life. So I get that. But it's not usually through the app.
And can we go back to pre-social media? Like as a person, I was always taking videos and showing photos. So even without social media, I was always sending photo for my sister. Like, look, I'm doing this. Like now I'm doing this to people that chose to be part of my life.
But as we were saying before, sometimes you're feeling a bit pressured, not just because I can't go abroad and take it as a holiday. I can't, because then people start telling you, I
did
start
not
receiving
post
messages.
or-
Are you okay? Because today I haven't seen anything about you. You didn't show up on the feed. So that makes me stress out.
And
So
you,
the
sorry,
double-edged sword you mentioned.
Yes, because Daniela mentioned before we sat down about having to create content constantly. And I've spoken to people who work in the same field, who do what you do, and they're like, "I'm going to take a break." And when they take a social media break, they know that it's going to cost them followers.
Of course. Not just followers, even the insights when a brand asks you to
share the insights.
the insights is gonna be affected, because if I for example, I went to a holiday, I said I'm gonna stop for a week, which it never happens. I can't do that. I can't afford it, because then your insights will start
Drop
going
down.
And when someone asks you to share your insights with them, to work with them, it's gonna be affected.
But we're going to come back to the community in just a second. I still have can you remind me? I have a massive question for you, Josline. Can you remind me? But I want to touch on this because I sat down, and I don't know if it was Taryn. I think it might have been Taryn. I sat down with somebody maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and we talked about this person going on holiday. They were going on holiday to Greece, and they were planning the outfits and the shots and the locations. And I said, that's not a holiday. That's work.
I have a
How the
different.
hell do you take time off?
I have a different experience to Daniela. So when I travel, I try my best not to use my phone. Like
I really
I put
admire
it.
her for that.
I put it on airplane mode or on do not disturb, and I leave it like that until the end of the day. And then at the end of the day, I like just check to see who messaged, just in case something happened at home. But I throughout the day, it's just for taking photos and Google Maps, and that's it. Because it is my social detox. Like I need it.
But as Danielle has just said, but if you've got 40,000 people that are wondering if you've dropped off the planet and you're okay, you have to stay engaged. And if your brands that you're associated with want to see your insights, you cannot. How do you get a break?
I think, for example,
never have that. Honestly, sometimes maybe I have a break a day, which I will say today I rested. I didn't use my phone when I'm abroad for 2 hours. That was my break. I was able to not touching my phone for 2 hours. That was my break.
It's so but that's why I try not to use it, because it's so consuming.
But
I want to live in the moment, and then I post later on and I answer if it's not an emergency. Like
But also,
the world
when
is
it
not
comes
gonna.
part of your job, like for me, when I even travel just for a holiday, and usually I choose new countries to start making tours there. If I like the place, I will say people will love this. So let me create something for them, a tour here.
Yes.
You need to take content
but hang on a second.
while you're on a holiday.
Yes, but you also went back and you said that you like to create, and we love you for it, this really beautifully edited, curated content. So you're going to go to somewhere, you're going to go to Greece, and you're going to see this beautiful place, and you're going to film the content. But you're going to have to edit that and make it absolutely beautiful. That is not a holiday.
Of course.
And that's why I
That's why I'm
shift.
telling you, it will be only 2 hours that day, or maybe I post after.
Because I as much as it is a job, I want it to be something that I enjoy doing. This didn't start as a job for me. It started out as a hobby, as something that I enjoy doing, and I want to keep it that way. And even if it's a brand, I want to enjoy doing that video for that brand. So that's why I don't want to consume myself too much and be like, no, I have to film a video. No, I don't want that. Like, I want to take my time. I film
But
what I need
honestly,
to
I
film.
love it.
And then I post.
Yes, I have no doubt. But
I think our struggle is both words. Like in my case, I'm managing to switch. For example, stories, just post one, and then I'll stop. But I take videos, but it's for fun and for me. But I'm
Maybe
trying to
use them
find
later.
and maybe use them later. But our way forward is to find a balance, because we are as important. Our presence is needed with you, our new generation. We're spending, for example, even when I'm at home, I tell them, right now I'm not consuming social media. I'm working on my mobile. So you are affirming your mind as well, and you are building a routine where you are rewiring and training your mind on how to separate the work from consumption. And that's helping me finding a balance. So it's all with this balance, how we eat, how we fuel our mind, how we
That's
exercise.
why I like training a lot, because when I go to training, that's the only place I don't use my phone, because
Yes.
you're working
your time to
out,
recharge.
Exactly. So while you're still like suffering because my training isn't easy, high rocks consist a lot of energy, but still, that time I forget about everything. Like,
this is why I think the four of us should go for a run together.
Yes, and not only not only run, then we're gonna swim. Because another way how I am totally present is by swimming, by jumping. Like, DC water is a natural reset system. So what I try to do is find ways how I reset my nervous system. And there are a lot of natural ways we can do it. For example, ice bath as well.
Yeah, apparently women
A
over
part of it.
40 shouldn't do ice baths, and I'm sticking to that.
No,
It's actually true. I'm sticking to. You can't get me an ice bath. No way. No way.
We'll work on that.
I want to come back, and I keep saying I'm going to come back to this. I want to come back to blend something that all three of you have said, but I want to kind of invest it into you sharing that raw part of your journey. And because I recently saw you responding to a negative comment. Now, I don't know what the negative comment was, because I picked up the stories after there was a negative comment. And as much as you love your community, and as much as I can appreciate how much the community is there for you, an amazing, amazing asset, what an amazing community to have, not all comments are positive.
No.
Not for anyone.
of course.
No.
And I want to ask you guys how you handle, and I'm going to start with you first, Josline, because you said that you shared that raw part of you. And that is like laying out in front of multiple football pitches, this is my life and this is the things that went wrong. And whilst I wholeheartedly believe that we should be doing that, and I've been sitting on something that I want to share as part of my journey, because part of what we do with the she word is we validate each other by saying, you know, it's not always great. You can't dress a turd up like a Christmas pudding and call it a Christmas pudding just by putting holly on it. Sometimes life is just a bit crap. Yes. And I do believe that social media has a habit of making it look like everything is okay and making other people feel completely inadequate. However, when we do expose our soft underbelly, we expose ourselves to criticism and to negative comments. And it could be that it's actually not. It could be Daniela looks stunning and she's posted a picture of her looking gorgeous and still gets negative comments. I want to, and I'm going to ask each of you how you deal with that, because I want to ask you first, when you exposed yourself and you said, this is the real me, were the comments all kind?
So I received a lot of love. I think there was a lot of relatability. Like people share their story. There are certain peoples where it's like I reach out to them to see how they are. I have that guilty feeling that sometimes I cannot manage with anyone, and I really love the fact that they understand me. And then there are, of course, certain negative comments. And what I worked so much on myself. So the light person you see, it's my work. The work I did on myself. I have outbursts. I have negative thoughts. I have a lot of things that go wrong in my life and situations. But I am conscious. I want to be responsible. I am a work in progress. And when someone gets with a particular message, it means that he's not working. It means that this person is not working enough to be responsible, to leave something else, which may be positive. So it speaks more of the other person. But of course, at the same time, like I have a heart, and that heart sometimes is vulnerable. It's not always strong.
Wellness looks different for everyone. For some, it's the energy of an early morning workout. For others, it's the morning hustle. Or the joy of a delivery arriving just when they need it. It's the little rituals and big moments that bring balance and health to our lives. Because wellness looks different for everyone. Holland and Barrett.
Welcome to Maison Perrier. Discover Maison Perrier Chic and enjoy our new non-alcoholic cocktail range. Maison Perrier. Enjoy our new sophisticated mocktails.
But this is what made me think, because yourself and Daniela, and I'm going to come to you in a second, Martina, but both of you put out a very positive, whether it be aesthetically or whether it be through the color, through the smiles, the message is positive, right? It's positive.
Yes, exactly.
And with your messages and your channel as well. However, positivity can be a red flag. It can be for some people, okay, red flag, need to take them down. You know what I mean? I mean, yes, and it's wrong in them, but it takes a real maturity to be able to say that's them and not me. Particularly if someone's being really personal, right?
Yes, and I think it's important that you have a circle that you go to your people and give you the support whenever you're mental health is not perfectly okay to take things as responsibly as it should. So there's a lot of things going on. There's you and the support system.
And who is your support system?
The first one is my sister.
Sister.
Yes. My sister, my family. Like here I have two of them who were supporting me. Like sometimes you connect through soul. I think it's the sisterhood. And that's what I try to create through social media. There is a lot of negative things, but maybe with the right people, you are selective enough to focus on those.
I was
somehow.
going to mention a point because we were all talking about messages and how many messages we get, etc. But the job in itself can be quite isolating because we don't have colleagues. Okay, so I have my other job, so that's fine. But in this industry, if it wasn't for Josline and now I met Daniela, but it's very isolating because how can I speak to my colleague and she can relate to what I'm feeling? You know, we're not together all the time. We meet once every, a month, forse. But so it's like you're kind of rowing the boat alone sometimes, and that could be a bit challenging sometimes as well, because how can you
doubt.
relate to someone if you're not,
Especially when I'm out, like with my friends, and they tell me, you're always with your phone, just remove that. It's not that simple to just remove that,
and not everyone understands it as
course,
well.
of course.
What mentioned Martina is related to the fact that when you receive messages that are positive, like it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. At the same time, then there is that part when you feel that you can take all of the message because like you have your personal life, you have a lot of things going on, and you would like to give your time, but sometimes
You responded to some negative messages. You responded and you actually called them out.
yes.
Why that message? Well, I don't know what
Let's-
what was the
let's
nature of the
ma-
message?
The message was like you have teeth of a horse. Like, let me show you my smile.
You have lovely teeth.
Thank you. But some comments, I call them out because there is
The
a
lesson
little,
as well,
there
like
is
for
a
others
little,
going through these.
and there is a little trigger in me because they were my insecurities in my past. And like, I don't respond to all messages, but when I was young, my teeth were protruding and I had to have braces.
Yeah,
and I
me
was
too.
I was so much insecure, like, those braces which bring your mouth like,
Yeah, I had those too.
and then, like, you're gonna cross the roads in front of the boys at school, and I do, and then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just smile. So I had my insecure moments with my teeth, and some bullying comments and so on. So I wasn't always comfortable. And then there was, like, after my self-love journey, I started to bring back my energy every morning, going to Ramla running and saying, good morning, good morning. And there was this guy who told me, I really love how you smile and you're giving me the energy I need. And then I said, oh, so I have been hating my smile so much and smiling like this in front of the camera and trying to hide my teeth because of that. And then I can make someone smile. And that's shifted my whole perspective. But
I want to ask you, I mean, you have a great smile and it is you. It's part of you as you are. But this person, and I'm going to ask you guys to think about this because I'm sure it relates to you as well. This person that made the comment about you having horse-like teeth, I'm assuming was Brad Pitt. And absolutely gorgeous and had absolutely good reason to be able to judge someone or had perfect teeth. Because am I not right in thinking that most of the time they really aren't? They're keyboard warriors hiding behind and just want to be able to say whatever they want to say. But why that comment? Why did you choose to call out that comment?
I think, as I explained at the beginning, is because it triggered a part of me.
Wow,
So
okay.
from all the comments, I only saw that because in the past, it was the
But
thing.
then why call it out? Why not just
Because
move
I
past?
don't want.
You needed to.
I don't like. If I was given that comment before, I would have been. I would have been hit hard.
And maybe even younger people that's having
And
this issue right now.
the younger
maybe
generation are facing these.
Yes.
And I want to make a difference because now he told me I'm a good place with my teeth. I'm happy with them.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't me, I have a conscience. Like, you know how I started my conversation. Like, I want to leave a legacy. And my legacy is to try and make a difference. I know, like, it won't cost me to share something positive, but there are kids that will cost them their life. They can become suicidal because of one word. You know?
Yes, they do. I mean, that the statistics of online bullying are
people, they just don't think when.
abhorrent for young girls.
And that's
And
what
I'm
I was-
speaking about young girls specifically because I happen to have worked alongside people that are mindful of this. And the bullying of young women and young girls online is horrific for this very reason, because people can get away with it. They think they can get away with it. And I think it's brilliant that you called it out. So I'm going to ask, I mean, Daniela, you're absolutely stunning. There's not anything about you that's in any way not perfect. No, I'm just, but you must have people. Do you get negative comments?
To be honest with you, they're very minimum. Like, thank God, I rarely receive something, even on messages, that someone doesn't like. Sometimes, yes, they just because I'm a very direct person. If I don't like something, I'm gonna say it. It's my account, and I feel very comfortable talk about what I like and I don't. And sometimes, you know, not everyone agree with you, but this doesn't happen very often. And on comments, yes, sometimes you find that one, even when I'm wearing a bikini, because I'm quite flat chested. But so what? I mean, I'm happy about myself. I mean, I can do it if I want, but I'm happy this
You're
way.
always going to find something to comment
That's
about,
for sure.
even if it's picture perfect.
The thing is, I know myself. Sometimes everyone is a bit low and not feeling it, and it will affect you a little. But I know I'm strong. But the thing is, if it was someone else, like Josline was saying, even young people, like how this is going to affect them. Like even just, I want that maybe these people that write these kind of comments, not just for me, for they think about the consequences. What?
But that's the point, isn't it? They don't. And they don't have to.
And not only that, like sometimes as well, thank God I don't get a lot of hate comments. I think the only comment that I got once was, already, istajjar b'xaram nizzel, meaning like she cooks with her hair down. I mean, I'm filming a video. I'm not like that at home. Like at home, I'm with my bun, with no makeup, like with my pajamas probably. So they don't realize that you're filming a video. You know, like it's something really simple what I'm mentioning here. So I don't know.
So we sort of broached onto the area of mental health, because whether it's triggering you, whether it's somebody judging what you're doing, creating your content, or whether it's just those tiny comments, surely being online, being a content creator, being an influencer or an inspiration has to have some mental health implications. We know that. How has it affected you, positively or negatively? And how do you protect yourself?
I mean, in general, it has affected me positively. Otherwise, I wouldn't have continued to do it. For me, the type of content that I'm doing, it's like therapy for me. So it happens to be something that I enjoy doing. So it's cooking or eating food or going out to a restaurant or filming with my friends or whatever it is. For me, that's heaven. Like I love doing these things. But then obviously there are the little downfalls. So for example, comparison. I was never the type of person that used to compare myself with people. Never. But as we were mentioning, like insights, engagement, you see your numbers going lower sometimes and you're like, I'm not doing enough. What am I doing wrong? How can I engage my people? How can I keep my follow, So
See, this goes back to, you just hit right on the nail and right on the head. Okay, because this goes back to a question that I skipped right at the very beginning about being an influencer or a content creator or an inspiration. And that is how much of what you do is chasing those numbers. How often, I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to ask you, Daniela, how many times do you check in to see how your following numbers are going, or how many people have looked? Don't tell me that you don't, because you must put up a reel and then go.
Sometimes people ask me how many followers I have, and I swear to you, sometimes I check, but not very often, like from time to time, because I'm curious.
But don't you look at a reel and think to yourself,
you know what I check?
Go on then.
I check every day I check that the amount of views on the stories. That's really important for me, even to see, for example, sometimes on the weekend it goes so up. Like I say, I do it because even for the brands I work with, I say this is the day that I need to post more, especially when I'm doing ads. I don't like doing ads every day. I don't want to put my Instagram or my socials as a TV, advertising all the time. But I like to balance a lot. So I try to choose a good day, but it depends, because I like to notice these things, not just for the brands, even for myself, because even, for example, during Christmas time, the views goes down so much.
Yes, but
everyone is out.
But we spoke, you and I, on the same chat group, and we talked about the fact that Instagram has just took a nosedive.
Yes.
And everyone on
It's
that
not
chat
about
was
the
really...
followers. The followers, I'm not telling you I ignore that. I love to see them going up. But mostly like these things are more important for me, like insights and...
But that's a business approach. That's looking at it as a business. And I'm quite sure that it can't just be a business. I'm going to come to you, Josline, because you were nominated as Up-and-Coming Influencer of the Year with our wonderful partners at Lovin Malta. And I thought to myself, if that was happening, you're going to be gaining new followers, you're going to be getting new traction, you're going to be seeing new insights. And then Lovin Malta Awards are over. You were in the last three, but you lost to, what's he called?
Briefcase.
The Briefcase Man.
And
who was amazing.
I nominated him myself. So to be honest, before that, I think my milestone was after Big Brother. Like, I couldn't believe how my life was changing. It's like I was no one in terms of publicity. And then all at once, it's like my life has literally changed. So of course, when you get your mobile back after 2 months and 1 week logged in, like, to be honest, I was very okay with it. But after that time, and you have your socials and like, all the people know you, like,
True.
And
you went in there like
like I only had 1K, and it's this change, this 1 year and a half. If I was at Lovin Malta, like, even to be with all those people, like even Briefcase Man, I was honored. Like Briefcase Man, I saw his he had an award from YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And so he's been working on content for a lot of time, and I was really humbled. I love him as a person because he is very genuine, and I would love to see more men in those niches,
absolutely. Yeah.
So,
but mental health, because Martina was very honest about that. You mentioned about chasing the numbers, and I have heard when Danae Mercer-Ritchie for instance, I keep going back to Danae and Shelley because they both accelerated to huge proportions very, very quickly, right? Nobody can prepare you for that. And I remember when Danae was telling me there was 1,000 new followers like a day on, day on, day on. And she said it just overwhelmed her and she got very depressed.
I think it's just recently that I've been doing this because as I was saying, I was never the type of person who likes to compare, not at all. But sometimes it comes naturally
But
and I don't like
she
it.
said that I agree also is we all do this because we love it as well. I honestly love it. But sometimes I like to compare it with training. I started training because I love it. I used to train by my own at home. I bought equipment and everything. Then I started taking it a bit more seriously. And once you start competing when in training, I'm saying, like, you start doing this thing not only because you love it, but because you need to improve because you have a race coming up. In content, that's the thing, because I started because I love it, but now
I agree
you're
with
doing
you.
it as a job, not just because you love it.
I do agree
So
with you.
you need to keep improving.
But the difference being that we are working on a platform that is designed specifically to be addictive, not just to the people that are watching you, but to yourselves as well.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna ask you, how do you protect your mental health? How do you protect the addiction? How do you protect yourself as a content creator, influencer, or inspiration from being addicted to the dopamine, being addicted to being on the platform? What do you specifically do to stop that?
I mean, I've been doing it for a number of years now, so I know kind of my limits. And that's why I mentioned the fact that I don't use my phone if I am on a holiday, for example, or if I'm going to a pool day with my friends. I try to use it. I'm not saying I don't use it at all, because sometimes you do message there and there, but you try to limit your time. So even in other aspects, like as I mentioned, so this is my therapy. So I enjoy doing it. But then again, I limit my time on my phone and I do other things. I used to go to the gym, I train, I used to go to ceramics and do pottery. Like, I can't use my phone. So it's just
cool.
3 hours, but it's 3 hours of me
Of course.
there in the moment with what I'm doing. So you balance, as Josline said.
Isn't the temptation, sorry, I'm going to come to Josline, I promise, but isn't the temptation, if you're doing ceramics and you're throwing a pot, isn't temptation to film it?
Yes.
I mean, I've done it once, but then you have your hands full of clay, so no, you're not
Yeah,
gonna.
we all need to come and join you on a clay throwing class.
You're not gonna.
I need that.
That's what Daniela needs. She needs the break where she can't touch her phone.
I think in my case, as I mentioned, since it was a quick change and I was like not even knowing what happened, at first I was really stick to my phone because I wanted to share everything, and I got used to the cameras so much that they were become like you are used to the fact that you have a camera, and like part of you knows that you need to have it. It rewired our mind, and you know that after 3 months are enough to rewire your mind completely. So that is why Big Brother was made, because you can completely brainwash your mind. So that's why now I'm a work in progress, because I'm developing ways how to take the real life to Instagram, because I wanted to keep it real. But at the same time, sometimes I switch off. And my best switches are going to the sea, go swing, and just being present. But I'm discovering more ways how to do, or reading, watching podcasts. I'm focused also on what I feed my mind. So neuroscience, how I can change my mentality. When I switch off with frequency music. I don't listen to radios because I believe that radios are designed. So So radios are designed that everyone has the same frequencies. And I want to choose everything, like even the music I listen to. There are certain music with calmness, with peace frequency. So like they can also be house music. Yeah,
But you also just, I mean, you mentioned radio, which I was a radio DJ, drive time radio DJ for 4 years. Again, you are driven as a radio DJ to be engaging and keep someone on your station. Keep them
everything
on
is
your
designed
page.
that
That
way.
comes back to keep them on your page. And that is which is why I'm asking you about mental health. Because if we're fighting an algorithm that says must keep you on the page, you guys are the ones that sit right in the middle of that double-edged sword.
Yes.
Daniela, what do you do or do you not protect your mental health? What do you, because we know that you can't be off your phone.
No, during training, as I said before, like I train 2 hours every day. So those 2 hours each day, I dedicate them for myself. Like maybe, okay, take a selfie at the end.
Yes, it's like
Yeah, we know.
But that's it. Those 2 hours are for me. And also, I sleep very late. Let's say at 1 a.m. in the morning. So when I get back home, like maybe around 9 in the evening, I start cooking. And after that, I try to use that time for myself, my partner, and my pets. And I really enjoy that moment.
That's the discipline. Before we come to the end of this show, I've got 3 questions for you. I'm going to first up start by asking, who do you follow? Who do you most love that you follow? And you can't just say each other.
people. But I'm not gonna mention people.
Me too.
Oh, wow.
Like,
I'm gonna
because
mention
there are
niches.
so many.
Okay, niches, that's fine.
Yes.
Niches, yes.
So, I follow healthy food, of
Okay.
course, training
Okay.
as well, and some fashion, like
Okay.
fancy clothes.
And you can't think of one person that you follow that you just think is amazing. They don't have to be local. They can be not local. They can be anyone.
like the list is huge.
Okay.
Of course, locally.
There you go. I knew you were
I
going to do
cannot
that.
not mention, like they're my friends, But if not local, there is Jenny Di Livoni. She inspires me a lot, and
And that comes back to what you said right at the very beginning about being inspired.
yes,
I love
because
that.
I follow inspiration.
There you go. There is no better way of saying that. Martina.
Can I mention 2 more? Okay, now.
Oh, yeah,
because-
go. Wow, okay.
Like Jay Shetty, Joey Dispenza, neuroscientists as well. So
You're a scientist. Okay, I like that. That's cool.
I don't have one specific person either. And to be honest, as I mentioned before, my following list on my personal page is quite limited, minimum. So I don't think there's one specific person. But I do love these travel videos, like these organic travel videos when people are like vlogging. I love vloggers.
You follow Daniela, don't you?
No, I don't.
Just found you out.
No, we just met. We just met
Now you're going to
today.
follow each other.
Yes, we just met today.
Okay, Daniela, who do you
With me,
follow?
with all the negativity around the world, unfortunately, especially right now, I always try to follow people who are creative, positive, especially with things I love, like traveling and colorful, like Josline, but honestly, like people who are positive and also creative. I like creativity a lot. And maybe I try to avoid news because
This came to my,
sometimes
this comes
no
to who do you
news
not
is
follow?
good news.
Okay.
But at the same time, sometimes I look for it as well because I'm interested in politics. I don't mind these things. So
But again, you just hit the nail right on the head, and I love that. Because you said you inferred that you don't follow news, but sometimes you want news.
Yes,
So I
yes.
think it's one of those things that we should be able to dip into instead of coming on our feed.
Exactly.
I know I've actually unfollowed a lot of news channels because I choose then to go, when I'm in the right place, to go and see what's happened around the world, what's happening in those places. Who have you chosen not to follow, Martina?
I think the news portals as well. There was a moment in my life where, well, my other job is quite intense sometimes and it's quite challenging even mentally. So it wasn't helping me going home and scrolling on my phone and seeing something negative. So I had to limit that. So I think that's
I think it's good advice for anyone.
Yeah.
Who do you not follow?
Of course, news I don't follow as well. It's like a no-go for me. And content which is based on ego. And a bit like I really feel energy. I'm a bit sensitive to certain things, and I believe in rawness and the fact that you
It's hug a tree.
Yes, yes. It's like if you see something, you're gonna absorb it as well. And I'm selective on what I absorb, so I cannot feed my mind things that go against my values.
I love that. I'm going to start with you, Daniela. Here's my very last question. Why should someone follow you? One line. You've got one line.
One line. Oh, because I'm already thinking. But for my creativity, and if you love travel, you must follow me as well.
There you go.
If you want some food inspo, or if you're looking for a restaurant, my page is full of food. So there you go.
There you go.
I think if you've ever been in your darkest time and you didn't believe that you're gonna make it, I would love to share tips on how I made it somehow, because I believe that everyone has a new chance in life. So
I couldn't agree with that more. I'm going to chin to that, ladies. What a great conversation. Thank you so much.